drip too hard, don't stand too close, you gon' fuck around and drown. Off this way, doing all these shows, I been on the road, I don't care where I go, long as I get paid. Bad little.
What's going on, guys? Today we're gonna be doing a video on the Cobra again. Like I mentioned earlier, I bought spark plugs for it, and the reason that I need spark plugs was because it was actually idling bad, and sometimes it would shut off on me, and I didn't know why. And the reason why that was happening was because this is an aftermarket JLT cold air intake, and it looked like it was sealed up here, but at the bottom my younger brother actually figured out that there was a gap at the bottom. So the mass flow air sensor is up here, and so if the air is not coming from where it's supposed to be in the air filter, then the air is coming from there, and that's unregulated air that was getting into the engine, making the computer not know if the air was enough for the car to run correctly, or if it wasn't enough. So unregulated air was being sucked into the engine. That means, excuse me. So unregulated air was being sucked into the engine. That means that the air to fuel ratio in the engine wasn't how it's supposed to be, so that would cause the spark plugs to burn out because it's not getting the correct mixture of fuel and air. So I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. I'm not gonna show you guys the whole process. It's fairly simple to get into these spark plugs. You're gonna be opening these covers. The only thing on this side is that you will have to remove the cold air intake to get into the spark plugs because it's in the way, and that's the only difference. So I've never done it to this car, but it should be 4 on this side and 4 on that side. I know my brother has a Hemi. He had a 16 spark plugs he had to swap out, so that was a big hassle. And like I mentioned in my previous video, this is the tool I'm going to be using to gap my spark plugs, and the specification for the tool was from 0.030 to 0.032. So I'm going to go ahead and gap them to 0.032. Anywhere around there would be ideal for this car if it's not tuned from the factory. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and gap these spark plugs and then put them in, as well as change out my windshield wipers, because as I mentioned in my earlier video, those windshield wipers are done. So when I was at Pep Boys, I just picked up some Rain-X windshield.
Yo! Try Fat Burger from now on. You can get yourself a double cheese with fries for $2.95, faggot.
Killed wipers, which it wasn't a very urgent thing for me because I don't drive the car in the rain because of the black paint. I want to conserve the paint and restore the paint eventually. So yeah, since it's black paint, it's really hard to take care of. So I try not to drive it in the rain as much as possible unless I absolutely need to. Okay guys, so when gapping your spark plugs, you're gonna want to, well, I'm sure there's more correct ways of doing this, but what I do, I pretty much just bang the tip on a wood surface, because a wood surface is gonna not be as hard as to damage the spark plug, but be hard enough to still do the job. So what I do is pretty much just bang the spark plug and measure it to where I want to get it to, and if it gets a little bit too big, you could always open it with this, and just be careful not to damage your spark plug. Just use common sense. Don't go too hard on it, but just do it hard enough to get the job done. Alright guys, so I'm not going to show you every step that I do because, I mean, it's changing spark plugs. It's pretty simple. What I am going to do though is tell you guys the sizes you're going to need. So for your first bolt here on the cover, you're going to need a 10mm bolt. So that's gonna take care of that. And every time that you work on an electrical part, it's also good to take out your battery. So I'm gonna take these off and then open up the valve covers. Alright guys, so here I was having a little issue getting the spark plugs out because my tool to get the spark plugs out, the washer kept coming off and then it kept getting stuck on the spark plugs itself. So I recorded a video of me explaining how to get them off if you don't have the tools. So here's a video of a trick that I learned, that if you don't have a tool to get the spark plugs out of your car, this is going to help you guys get that out without having to go to the store and buy a tool for it. So once you have the spark plug loose, you could put the coil pack in there and it'll grab your spark plug. So that's a trick if you don't have the tool to remove the spark plug. And as you can see, this spark plug is all burnt out, and that could have been causing the issue. Alright guys, so here's the condition that the spark plugs were in, and they were gapped to the specification that I looked up online, so that was good. But as you can see, they're all burnt out and they have a lot of carbon on them. This is what a stock one looks like, a brand new one that hasn't had all that carbon buildup. As you could see, these were ready to be switched out, so good thing. I'm gonna put new ones in. Alright guys, so I put the spark plugs back in. I'm gonna put the valve covers back on, and then we're gonna turn it on and see how she sounds. Oh, you see that green, that green.
Pull up your fucking pants, sir, now! Let's go. Let's go. Go down on the stage. What the fuck you trying to find, motherfucker?
Okay guys, so while I was recording the video, I actually lost the footage of when I found out that the air filter at the bottom wasn't attached to the whole if you don't get intake. So it's inside the wheel well. So right now you're gonna see me talking about how the air filter is not attached, and I go ahead and fix that problem as well. So it takes a lot longer than just changing out the spark plugs themselves. Alright guys, so that's the little hole you have to work with there, and there's not enough space to put my hand in there and tighten everything and make sure that everything fits. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to pick up the car, take that wheel off, go into the tire guard in here, take that panel off in the tire guard, and then get to the air filter, plug it in, and make sure it's on correctly, and then so I don't have to worry about this ever again. Might as well just do it right the first time, and it's gonna take a little longer, but it'll be time that'll save me a headache down the road, so I might as well get it done right. Alright guys, so I cleaned this out already. I just rinsed it out with a water hose. I cleaned it up pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it to dry. I don't want the car sucking up water, so I'm gonna leave it to dry, and then I'm gonna go grab some food and come back and finish the install once this is ready and dry.
One eternity later.
Okay guys, so actually after I was done eating my food, I took a nap. That shit was fire. I woke up and actually I needed some help, so shout out to my younger brother. He came and he needed to hold the air filter under the car up so that the tubing comes down, and I was holding it from the top, and because I think that's where the guy that installed it went wrong. He might have been doing by himself, or he was like in a rush. Maybe he was happy, you know, when you get new parts, you just want it on your car already. So that's why it was loose. So I made sure that me and my brother put it back together correctly. But right now I'm gonna start the car, and I might as well give you guys a cold start to end the video. So if you want to stick around for that, and other than that, see you guys on the next one.